Give them a call at 867-1213. It's a caring place for people and plants. It's Kenny's Place. All right, 16 minutes after 9 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Before the break, we were talking to you about Danny Santiago. You know, there's a Hurricane Danny that'll be in the news tomorrow. Tomorrow there'll be Hurricane Danny. So I don't know if you wanted to have a punch or not, but it would be so perfect for your event. Danny Santiago is in the studio. He's a professional boxer and a boxing coach. And with Danny is Jared Caldwell. Jared, you're a boxer as well? Come on, I don't hear anybody. There, try now. You use the microphone right there. That one. There, okay. Now I hear you.
Right, man. How you doing, man?
Then we have Chris Hickman.
And Chris Hickman. Good morning, Chris. How are you?
Good morning, sir. How are you today?
You guys all box?
Yeah, we kind of have done a few things over the years.
You know, my daughter-in-law is learning how to box.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, she's looking pretty good. She posts videos on there. Yeah, I think I'd have a hard time dealing with her. So, well, thank you guys for coming in. We had this segment this morning, just so you know, called "Things That'll Restore Your Faith in Humanity." And they were really wonderful stories about people who basically used their talents, used their skills, used their money, their time, whatever they had, to do great things for other people. And I think there's so many more of those stories out there than there are of bad things, but those bad things seem to make it into the news. You guys have skills, you guys have talents, and you guys are using your time and those talents to help do a wonderful thing, not only to raise money to fight bullying, but also awareness. And from what I understood, the kids get into this event on Saturday just by taking a pledge to not bully. Is that right?
Anti-bullying pledge, yes.
Anti-bullying. Well, good morning to all of you. Thank you for coming in. Let me start with you, Danny. How are you?
I'm doing great.
You look tough.
I'm getting there. They're sharpening.
Have you always been tough? Were you a tough kid? Or is it hard to say?
Well, I've lived in Ocala almost half my life. I went to high school and stuff. And when I was a kid, I was a typical tough, city kid that came to the country and stuff. But
what city did you move from?
I'm from the Bronx, New York.
The Bronx?
Well, originally. But I'm from Ocala.
Yeah, I know. How old were you when you moved here?
I think I was about 16 or 17 years old.
Oh, okay. So you lived up there long enough to get that New York in you.
Well, I went back and forth, but
yeah.
You know,
I did the same thing, except I'm not a boxer. I'm a bulldog. No, I'm just. So
some people say I look like a bulldog, so we have something in common, right?
So who are you fighting on Saturday?
I'm fighting Roy Jones Jr.
Ray or Roy?
Roy Jones Jr.
Roy Jones Jr.
Yeah.
Have you fought him before?
I've sparred with him before, and it's always been outside of fighting for world titles, I wanted to actually fight him for the world title because he was the name to go against. He was the guy to go against, and it's been my lifelong dream to go against him. And here I am.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We were supposed to fight each other a couple of times after our initial sparring session, once I hit the world ranks, and things just never came to fruition. But here we are. Some people say we're a little bit past our prime. I'm 42 and he's 46.
Is that past your prime? I mean, what is your
I don't think so.
You don't look like you're past your prime.
I think I'm good to go.
You could take me. I know that. I may be big, but I think I'd be on the floor. What do you think, Bronson? I think you'd knock me out, don't you? Yeah, I'd be done. I'd be on the floor.
Well, going back to my tough days, I don't fight. I don't get into altercations unless I'm in the ring getting paid for it.
What's inside you? What's inside your heart? Who are you?
Danny Santiago now.
Yeah.
From before, I'm just a man of God.
I had a feeling.
I go to church. I go to, not to try to plug in my church, but I go to South Point Church. I have a relationship with God and my family. I tried my whole life when I lived here before to get away from here. And when I got away from here, things didn't work out the way I thought they would be, or they would. And I'm so blessed and happy to come back and realize that I had to come back to Ocala, and this is where I needed to be. The greatest thing I ever did was come back here. It
is interesting how God gives us talents and gives us a place to use those talents, and sometimes we want to use them in L.A.
Sometimes we want them. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes we want them in other places. And we want it in our time, but it isn't in our time.
Isn't
it's in
that
God's
true?
time.
That's absolutely true. Well, good for you. Wow, you've already won me over.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I want to come back to you, but let me ask Jared because I don't know Jared at all, and of course I don't know any of you at all. Good morning, Jared.
How you doing, man? How you doing, Larry? Good morning.
Are you fighting on Saturday also?
Saturday?
No, he's fighting on my card on August 29th in St. Martin. He's a co-main event.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Now, what does that mean, fighting on your card? What does that mean?
I'm fighting in St. Martin.
Yeah.
This anti-bullying thing is on Saturday.
Okay.
We're going to be there. We're actually, going to be doing some color commentating and things like that. But this is an amateur show on Saturday.
Okay.
To raise awareness for anti-bullying. Just because we're boxing and we're in the ring, as pugilists, we are advocates for not bullying, for not fighting in the streets and keeping kids off the streets, right? But he's the co-main event in St. Martin when I fight out there.
Oh, really? Where did you grow up, Jared?
I'm from Gainesville, Florida.
From Gainesville. Yeah. All right. And do you box in Gainesville?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, those college kids, they go down in a heartbeat, don't they? I'm just teasing. I'm just teasing. Do you remember? I remember when I was a kid, if there were two kids fighting, the coach would always say, "Come on, we'll have a boxing match," and make it more official, instead of fighting in the parking lot of the playground. So you're shaking your head.
Yeah, that's the way it used to be, and because of political correctness now, you can't allow two young men to get out there and express their frustrations because competitions is frowned upon. But yet at the same time, you left it on the playground.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, didn't it make more sense the way it used to be? So I'm guessing you two guys are too young to remember those days when two boys were fighting in the parking lot and the coach saw them and said, "All right, come on, we're going to set up a date next Friday. We're going to have a boxing match. You have gloves. We'll have rules."
No, listen, that's where I was when I grew up. Me and Coach Chris, we went to the same school, Lakewood High School.
Oh, really?
And there were times when I was in school that I've pretty much always been violent, right? But
you've been violent?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, really?
Let him rephrase that, Larry. He's not a violent person by nature, but he won't turn down from a fight, and we're very much alike in the sense that he doesn't like bullying, and most times it wasn't directed at him personally. It just he got kind of involved standing up for the underdog, and that's how it started.
You've been like Superman? Have you shown up?
I'm not Superman, but if you came looking for problems with me, you always found it, I never turned anything down.
Okay, so when you were in school, you saw two kids fighting, and you knew one was being picked on. Were you the guy who shut up and told the other guy to get out of here?
I'm not going to say I did that. What I would say is that when I first came here, it was a culture shock. I just didn't understand they didn't understand my terminology, they didn't understand the way I spoke and things of that nature. But, for some reason I was labeled to be a tough kid or whatever. And, at the very beginning.
Did you have a beard early in life?
I've had a beard since I was like 13 or 14 years old. So I've always been, my mother says I'm an old soul, right? But, I never backed down. If anything ever came, aggressive towards me, the only way I knew how to handle it was to just put my hands up and do what I had to do. But in those days, getting back to what you were saying, I don't know if I've necessarily seen any bullying. I don't recall anyone really in school getting bullied. But I do know that when there was a situation, you put up your hands, do what you had to do, walked away,
take care of it, and they never came back,
and it never bothered you.
But you know what?
Again.
You know what concerns me though. This is honest. I feel like not that the other stuff wasn't honest, but I feel for you. I don't want you to get hurt. I mean, you are such a good guy. There's something in you that is so good. I can see it in all of you. And yet you hear these horror stories about somebody gets punched in the head in the boxing ring and they're not the same. Look at Muhammad Ali. They say that he's behaving the way he is now because of all those years of getting hit in the head.
Well, I think that he has Parkinson's disease. So what he has was boxing induced it and made it a lot worse. But he was just going to have it. I mean, I guess that's hereditary or whatever he had.
Really?
He was going to have. It's just that.
But doesn't it do like football? They say the head injuries can eventually get to be too much for you. I don't want that to happen. We had his daughter on, by the way.
We did.
Muhammad Ali's daughter.
Yeah.
She was really cute, by the way. I can't imagine boxing her.
No, she was awesome.
Yeah. Oh, have you seen her? Do you know her?
Yes, I've met her.
Oh, okay.
I've met Muhammad Ali as well. So
really,
yeah. I was an extra in the Ali movie they filmed in Miami.
Really?
And I got to meet him and a few other people. It was pretty cool.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And Jared, when you decided to go on to this kind of profession, did you have any reservations at all about it, or was this something that was in your heart?
It was something that was always in my heart ever since I was 6. My first time going to New York, my cousin took me to a boxing gym in New York, and it just changed my whole life.
Where was it in New York? In the Bronx?
I wasn't sure. I'm not too sure. I was 6, so that was my first time being there.
6? Yeah. Oh, wow. So that's an impressionable age. Yeah. So I kind of wish we hadn't been late today, but I don't want to neglect the event on Saturday. Let's talk about that because this is kind of the main reason for being here. So there are plenty of opportunities to sponsor, to buy advertising in the program. Anybody want to address any of those things?
Well, I mean, I would like to address the fact that my buddy Samson, he's the one who's hosting this show.
Samson. Okay.
Yeah.
Does he have his hair? Because without that hair, he's nothing. Remember?
Well, he has hair.
Yeah. Well, he has hair, but
No ladies named Delilah around him at all.
he's put on a great event. It's about a third one that he's done, anti-bullying, and I think it's a great thing where he's encouraging kids to come down and take the pledge. And he's letting them know, look, you come down here, watch a good event, show them there's a productive way to doing things. You know, in my gym, I have a gym here in Ocala, and we try to teach these kids as well as Samson that coming to the gym, releasing stress on the bag and hitting the bag is better than hitting somebody else out in the street. And what I find that kids that come to my gym who have been bullied or who have anger issues, they leave my gym and they leave all their frustrations. Their parents love it because they go home tired, but they it's like they learn what to do as a fighter.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they don't do it.
So they don't do it. It's like it's like a martial arts kind of a
It's
thing.
a crazy thing.
Do you know with the internet as a place to bully, it's so hard because you can't fight back. I mean, you really can't. So you have to have a different mental state, I guess. Now, I mean, Jared, you look young enough that you probably went through that a little bit anyway, right? Am I right?
I went to what?
With the internet, maybe you're on Facebook or something, or are you too old for that already? Because if you get picked on the internet, you can't walk up to that guy and say, "Hey, knock it off,"
Yeah.
or whatever, right?
Yeah. I think I'm a little too old to
Little
deal
bit
with
too old
stuff
for that?
like that. But yeah.
But the kids who show up at this event, they probably are.
There's a lot of children in this day and age that are bullied that never report it. We're hoping that this event will promote the positive side of standing up for those that are being bullied,
Right.
but also recognizing during this event each year we recognize the Community Resource Officer of the Year for both the police department and Marion County Sheriff's Department.
Right. Yeah.
And with that though, we're trying to make the kids more of supportive and aware of these officers that are in our schools that are doing an amazing job trying to keep not just the peace within the school, but trying to build up and foster a positive role model for these kids.
Right. Yeah, that's a really good thing you guys are doing. Thank you for coming in. Let's make sure that the people know that this is very affordable. First of all, if the kids want to go, all they have to do is take the pledge.
That's correct.
Right? And the pledge is just to, promise never to bully anybody? Is that the
Yes.
whole idea? You know, that's a special kid who can actually recognize that he's a bully and then say, you know what, I'm going to stop this. That's a special kid if you think about that. So good for you for bringing that out. Us as adults, our non-bullying adults, hopefully. What is it, just $10 a seat, but $20 if you're in the front row?
Yep.
$250 if you have a table, and a round table is $150. It sits 6 people. How do we get these tickets? What do we need to know?
Well, you can call the 352 433-2320.
Okay.
Or you can just show up to the event and purchase your tickets there.
And it's at the building behind the
Livestock Pavilion, the new building.
the rodeo arena behind. Okay, that is a new building. See, I
Yes,
didn't
it is.
know.
It's
Okay,
very nice, air conditioned, beautiful.
Oh, excellent. All right, and that's the Southeastern Livestock Pavilion behind the arena that we normally go to for rodeos. Thank you guys for coming in here. Jared Caldwell, Chris, I forgot your last name. Hickman, thank you so much. And Danny Santiago, Hurricane Danny is coming this way.
Yes,
How
he
ironic is that? Huh?
Isn't that cool? That's cool. Let's hope it has a punch, but doesn't come our way. Thank you, Danny, and
Thank
everybody.
you.
We'll be
It's a
right
pleasure
back.
and honor.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. Hackers carry out a threat against a cheating website.
The Ashley Madison website dealing with this massive breach that its clients likely don't want made public. While a number of clients wasn't determined, names, addresses,